Doing the right thing. Okay.
And what you see, to get more to feeling like it's more good. Because they know that I'm going to teach you.
Okay, that's good, Orna. Who else has taught it? You have. And your name is?
Tammy Elliott.
Tammy.
And I also very much enjoyed the text. We found because of the depth of the material that the text provided, that we decided to use the text for both our 3rd and 4th grade, where before we thought we'd just do it all in 3rd grade. It was very nice in terms of insights into repetition of words, the use of certain words together. It allowed the kids to be able to start looking at the text for deeper meanings.
Great.
And that was very good.
And what brings you here today?
Similar reasons.
Want to see if you're doing it right and more tools. Okay.
And also different approaches to teach the same material.
Okay. Anyone else has taught being Torah? Okay, so that must mean the rest of you are new to being Torah. I am a teacher of being Torah. I have taught being Torah twice in my teacher biz. I am a partner in Torah Aura. I helped create the book, but it's been a real joy to teach it, and I think it is one of those great books to get deeper meaning and to get students really reading into the text. But it is hard, and I understand your frustration or your interest, because a lot of principals say to me, my teachers don't know how to use this book, and so they don't use it. Well, let's see if we can figure this out. By the way, for those of you who came in, my name is Jane Golub. If you like this session, I'm Jane Golub. If you don't like this session, I'm Debbie Rowe. All right, so all of you are familiar with the book? Is anyone not familiar with the book at all? Okay, you're not familiar because you haven't seen the book. This is Being Torah. First of all, Being Torah is the first book that Torah Aura ever put out. This is our first book production, and it's the one that had the most care, as most first productions do, which is why it is truly the most special to me and the most special, I think, to a lot of people. But let's talk about Torah reading, and let's talk about the levels of Torah reading and what someone should get out of Torah at certain ages. What's the first step, you think, in Torah, in learning Torah? When one is a little tiny itty-bitty kid, how does one learn Torah or Torah stories as a little kid? Anyone? Warner?
Sometimes the original story will be filled out of tale, and then they do, and she.
Okay, so sometimes they get stories. Stories. And how do they get those stories?
Orally.
What? Excuse me?
Orally?
Orally. Someone has to read it to them. They listen to it. Because there's no other possibility. Oral or oral. They get to hear it. Mommy and Daddy read it to them. The nice kindergarten teacher reads them nice stories. They get a chance to hear them. What happens at about 3rd grade? Well, let's talk about 1st grade. What happens at 1st grade? What do 1st graders know how to do? They're learning how to read. They're learning how to get a certain skill. So there's a beginning possibility for Torah reading by Torah stories by allowing students to learn to read. So that there's a level of reading that's sort of first reading. And stories have to be pretty simple at that level, because you can't be too complicated if they can't understand what they're reading. How many of you had 3rd and 4th graders in your classroom? What happens with 3rd and 4th graders? Yes?
I don't know, I missed the beginning training.
Okay.
What happens with them in terms of...
How about their reading?
Well,
They're readers already.
Yeah, they're reading.
They're reading pretty good. No, they may have some slow ones, but they're generally reading fairly well, and they need something more. They don't want to read little baby stories. See Dick, see Spot, see Sally run. You know, like my family, you can't do this for much longer. They need something what? They need something better and more intense. That's where we get to being Torah. We're looking for a deeper meaning. I like to think about students at that age needing to find some mystery and doing some detective work. I know that I started reading, and many of my students started reading detective stories about 3rd or 4th grade. Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, and I think the Boxy Twins were in there somewhere, but a little bit earlier. But there's something exciting about being able to think while you're reading. And I think that's where being Torah comes in. You've got to get to the mystery. The philosophy behind being Torah is to take that level of readability, that ability to read and to look for deeper, and to look for the mystery, and to look for what's underneath, and move it past that point and say, I can look for Torah clues. Now the one thing I want to tell you before we start is that we didn't invent Torah clues. The text for being Torah is actual Torah text written for the age group. And all we did was highlight the material that we wanted children to finally get to. Alright, let's start by what we're looking at is the Being Torah textbook in one hand, in this hand, and the Being Torah student commentary in the other. The textbook has all the text. It shows all the clues. It tells us what we're looking for. The student commentary, which is like a workbook, gives us the basis of finding where we're going. It'll tell us everything we need to know. It'll hint us in the right direction, and we'll see that as we move through it. But they're important together because they help us learn together. We call it a student commentary because we want students to give their opinions. And that's what I'll do to introduce this. Let's read a story and let's see what happens. I want you to turn to the Being Torah piece. We're going to look at the story beginnings. Open up to the first page. It's a little hard to read because we are black Xerox many times. But I'm going to sort of divide the room. We're going to do a little oral reading here. Okay? Do I have a good, strong reader who's going to interest in being my narrator? Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot your name already. Okay. You're going to be our narrator. Okay? You're going to read everything that I tell everybody else not to read. Okay? You ready for it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm going to divide the room. Let's divide it this way. So Tammy, you're on this side. Orna, and we go this way. This side. I'm sorry to say all the women on this side. I want you to read the word created every time it comes up. It's going to come up 3 times. I'm warning you. 3 times created. Okay, over here, you are the good side. Every time the word good comes up, you're going to read the word good. Now, the good people, the good words are in all capital letters. So you want to look for those good words, and you want to say them right out. Just get together and say them right out and make them loud and let me hear them.
Beginnings. God
Created.
the heavens and the earth. The earth was unformed. Darkness was over the deep. The breath of God was over the waters. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God said,
Good.
God called the light day. God called the darkness night. There was evening, there was morning, day 1.
All right, before we go on to day 2, why am I having you read it out loud? Yes?
To keep everybody else involved, you know.
To keep everybody else involved. I'm not sitting there saying, read the book, read the chapter, and we'll talk about it. It's an oral experience. Torah is an oral experience. We're listening to clues as we're reading the clues. Now, what do you know already? You know that there's something that we are emphasizing on the word create, and there's something we're emphasizing on the word good. These are our clues. I'll tell you more about our clues later, but we already can hear that we have something going. All right, hit day 2.
God said, "Let there be a space between the waters." And God made the space. God called the space God. There was evening, there was morning. A second day. The heavens and the earth were finished. God finished all the work on the 7th day. On the 7th day, God rested from all the work. God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all the work. Everything had been
Created.
But let me ask you something. It's harder to do the first story because they don't know the clues, and because I had prompted you a lot on good and creative. But if you were a student, you would have heard someone being reminded to say the word create or created, and you would have been reminded to say the word good. Now, we took clues that are already part of Torah study, and we used them here. The first thing we had what was known as a theme word, or as we call it, a T word. That's a word that's used enough times to make us feel that there's a pattern there or there's something we should know. There's also a thing called a number word. A number word is a word that's used 7 or 10 times, 4 times in some cases. It's used in a definite pattern. You can see it's coming. If I told you that I was looking for a word that was used many times, what word would you call that one? Which of the 2 words we used would you say? Which word came up many times?
Good.
How many times did the word good come up? Can anyone find it? Look, 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 look. Seven times. 7 times, everyone agree? 7 times. 7, good. We agree? Okay, so if I tell you that the good is a number word, what's our theme word? Okay, we know that. This is the creation story. We talk about creation. We have something to do with creation. This story is going to have something to do with good. That's how we find our message for the story. We look for the clues that are there, and we use the clues to find our meaning, to find our message.
Do you want the students to look for a theme word every time?
Yes. Well, no, I'll take that back. There are many different devices. There are many different tools. Theme word and number word are only 2 of the different devices that we look for. We also look for things like echoes, which we'll see a little bit later. We also look for things like missing information. We have no idea why this is happening. What do you think we're going to do with it? We also look for reruns, something that has been said before and gets said after again. A perfect example of a rerun and an echo is in the story where Abraham is sitting in the front of his tent in Vayera, and he sees the strangers coming, and he runs and hurries to feed them and take care of them. In the story of Rebecca runs and hurries to help Eliezer. That's known as an echo. We heard it before. It sort of ties us together. We sort of think about having these things come together. In the story of, also in the story of Rebecca at the well, Eliezer says, please, Master, please, God, make sure that my master's son's wife can be found. Make sure that when I come to the water, that she says, I will water your camels and I'll give you water. And that's basically what she says. And what she says is the same, exactly same words, but she adds something. Aha! We have rerun the words. We have exactly the same words that come out of her mouth, but we've added something. It's called a rerun. So there are several devices. We'll start with the theme word and the number word. Okay, let's open up our student commentaries. Those are the ones that had, that was our 4 and 5, our page 4 and 5. And what did I tell you about a theme word and a number word? Every story has a theme word, mostly, not always. We don't always look at the theme word because sometimes we're interested in something else.
The commentary has a commentary on the theme word and the number.
And the number word. And there's always a number. The number word is used, let's see what it usually says, 5, 7, 10, or 12 times. So we know that created is not a number word because it's only used 4 times. And we know that the word good is used 7 times, so we've got a deal here. We know what we're looking for. All right. I'd like you to fill out page 5. Now, it says one T word or theme word in this story works like bookends. It's in the first sentence and the last sentence. What was that? Do I need you to remember that? What if you don't remember that? What if I've been talking about something else? What if I've been talking about the general story? How would you find that out? I'd go look in the book again. What was used in the first sentence? What word? Of our theme word. We're talking about our theme word here.
Created.
Created. And what's used in the very last line if you had your pages in order? Created. That's our theme word. Ooh, we're doing brain surgery here.
But it tells you right there in the brackets, I think that's something you need to point out to the children, that T word, you're looking for the theme word. If you know what the theme is,
Right.
it's easier to find.
Right. But we also tell you to look for it. It's used in, what does it say? It's used in the first and the last sentence. All right, let's do the next one. Count the number of times the word good is used. Okay, it's used 7 times. The same number as what? The days of creation. Ooh. Ooh, we already have a way to put these things together. Okay, now the hard part, the message. We call it my comment. The reason that we talk about it as my comment and that we share comments all the time between students is because we think that students at this age should start becoming Torah commentators all by themselves. Rashi, Ibn Ezra, Rambam are not the only people who can make comments. The rabbi is not the only one who knows the secrets of the Torah. We can learn them too, and that's why we do that. So, let's do my comment. 2 words in the story point out an important message. When we put the theme word, which is what? Create. And the number word, which is good. We learn that. But you already taught the book. We learn that creation is good. Creation, good. That's good creation. Boy, that's pretty exciting. Now, what makes creation good? What was good about creation?
Came from God.
Came from God. What else? We got people out of it. We got flowers out of it. We got trees out of it. We got furry animals. We got kitty cats. Creation was good. Let me tell you the next step, Fern. Fern, tell me what your idea of creation was. What does it mean that God creation is good? Tell me what that means. Or how did you write that?
I wrote that. I think I was thinking what God created was good.
Okay. Fern.
I mean, you're going to get 12 different
God
answers if you don't have one.
Created. Let's say what God created was good. What God created was good. Someone else. Orrin, what did you write down?
I had a creation.
Okay, we'll put Orrin's name here. Creation is good. Someone else. What did you write down? You wrote the same thing. You are Harith. Harith wrote down. Orrin and Harith wrote down. Okay. So you tell me something. If you had to look at the comments that Fern and Orna and Carol wrote down, what would you write down? What would you choose? What do you like? Whose comment would you like to join? In the later stories, there's a my comment, and then there's a place for write somebody else's comment down. So maybe you, Fern, wrote down what God created was good, and maybe you like your answer, but you really also like what Orna wrote down.
Right.
We would encourage you to write that down. Because not only do we want to be commentators, but we want to learn to study in a community. That our opinions are good. But we want to be able to study in a community that actually studies together. We ask our students to write comments. We ask them to make my comment. So the first reason these comments are in here is to model. Okay? The very first reason they're in here is to say, well, in this case, Michael said this. What do you think about what Michael says? Do you have an opinion that's different? Let me hear what you have to say. Let me hear your comment. And then you start working through the comments. So that's number one. Number two is they do give something different to the story. We have one little girl who makes all kinds of women's political, this little 7-year-old is making women's political statements. Well, she wasn't really making, we wrote them. But was making, because we thought it was important to talk about Sarah and talk about her feelings and talk about Rebecca and her feelings during the whole story that isn't very, that isn't very matriarchal at that point. And so we decided that we thought we could bring in other ideas. This is a curriculum that takes a lot of energy. Okay, this is not a curriculum that you can say to your children, sit down and read this and we'll discuss it afterwards. Boy, this takes energy. This is a really go-getter kind of book. Because it needs you to do the performance, it needs you to bounce around, and it needs you to be able to know exactly where everybody is. That's why most teachers have problems with it, to be perfectly honest. Because it's more difficult than being able to sit at your desk. I don't ever sit at my desk when I'm teaching this because I need to bounce around, but I'm also a bounce around kind of teacher. Yes?
And you say it's good for 3rd through 5th?
It's good to 3rd through 5th. We recommend it in a 2-year cycle because it's a lot of material to do in a year. Yes?
Oh, I noticed that one of the pages here has the Hebrew verse Torah.
Yes.
So the Hebrew is incorporated in...
Not in the reading.
Not in the reading.
We don't expect students to know how to read that, and we don't expect really teachers to have to use it, but it doesn't mean that we didn't put it in lest you want to take the opportunity. It's there because we thought it was important to make sure that students knew that this was Hebrew stuff that we had translated, but it's not really there. The teacher's guides make some, give us the notion of vocabulary that we can use, and that we talk about the Hebrew, and that it gives you the information for using the Hebrew if you want to, but it's not necessary. It's just there for to let students know that it's there.
Level, I guess.
Yeah, depends on level. Yes. All right, I need another reader. Okay, your name is Tamara. Tamara and Tammy and Karen and Karen.
Poor teacher.
Okay, Tamara, you're going to be our narrator. All right, so I need to break it this way. We'll break Steve and Karen and Karen. I just love it. You're going to be the land people. Okay? Land, okay. Ruth and Tammy, you're going to be the Abram people. Every time we say the name Abram, Tamara will stop and you will be Abram. Loud and clear, I want to hear this, guys. Okay. Orna and Fern, you are, every time there's a blessing. Blessings are the numbered ones you get to read.
All of them?
Yes, you get to read the blessings. Okay? I need them loud and clear. All right, everybody sort of look through the page for a second and let's run with it. Okay? Tamara, go ahead.
Okay. The Lord said to
Abram,
take yourself from your
land,
from your birthplace, from your father's house, to the
land.
There I will let you see.
And I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. And I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse anyone who curses you. All the families of the earth will be blessed through you.
Abram.
When as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him.
Abram
Was 75 years old when he left Haran.
Abram
Took Sarai his wife, and Lot his nephew, and all they owned, and all their people, and they left for the
land
of Canaan.
They came to the
Land.
Of Canaan.
Abram
Crossed the
Land.
as far as Shechem, The Canaanites then lived in the
Land.
The Lord was seen by
Abram.
The Lord said, to your future family I will give this
Land.
Abram.
built an altar to the Lord who is seen by him.
Okay. What words did you hear? If I didn't tell you this, what words did you hear? Land. What else did you hear? Okay, Abram.
Abram.
And what was our other thing acting with blessing? How many blessings were there? 7. 7 blessings. Okay. How many times was the word land used? Count quickly. 6 or 7? Talk to your friend, make sure you know.
No, 7.
7. Does everyone agree on 7? Okay. 7 land. How many Abrams? What, did I lose you already? We're looking for Abrams. What, we're taking the snooze here? 7 Abrams.
If we said 7 long times,
What's 7? What did I tell you about the number 7? If something is found 7 times, what did I say that was?
Echo.
No, but that's a nice idea. What did I say it was?
Days of the creation.
Okay, it's days of the creation. What else did I say about 7? I said it was
A number word.
a number word. And why did I say it was a number word? Because it was used.
more than 4
Well,
times.
it was used 5, 7, 10, or 12 times. We know this already. So, this must be a number word problem. Now, what do you think if we have something that's used the same number of times? What do you think we should do with this? We should say, Say Yes, we should say All right, let's open up the workbook, which is the packet that, well, it's the page 28. Yes.
I'm just curious, is this the number of times used in Hebrew?
Yes.
So this is...
Now, there are various, different, you have to sort of root word it out sometimes.
Right.
But yes, this is the actual number of words. We're not pulling stuff out of nothing. We decided to use real text. All right, we're in the workbook on page 28. This is what we're looking at. It says, Chapter 7, Abram leaving home, 7.1, and a math problem. Okay? So, it says, open me toward page 63 and 64. That's the textbook. And it's going to ask you to count. We just did this work, so we're going to do it here. Count how many times Abram's name is used. 7. Okay, we already know that. 7 names of Abram. Count how many times the word land is used. 7. Good. Count how many lines of blessings there are. Okay. In the story, God gives Abram 7 lines of blessings. Putting these together, we find out, we're going to do the math problem, that 7 equals 7 equals 7, which means land equals Abram equals blessing. Okay, what kind of comments do I have? What do you think you like? Anyone have an idea? Fern.
Each is equally important to each other.
Okay, each is
Each is
equal.
equally important.
Each is equal. Okay, we'll go with that. What else? Or no?
They have the same value, and in our story, they're connected.
Okay, Orna says they have the same value.
Value.
Value. And connected. Okay, I'll give you the real answer if we don't hit it. But you're on the right track. Yes, Karen.
I just sort of took it beyond that. Like, they all have the same value, but when we look back to the land, we have to remember.
Oh, I know what else.
We have to remember, Karen. Finish.
I don't know exactly. Like, we have to, when we look back to the land, we can't just, we have to keep all in perspective.
Okay, everything in perspective.
Abraham and the blessing.
Okay. Come on, Karen. Tell me what you're talking about. When they're all in perspective, what do we have to know?
Well, you can't have the land without the blessing. I mean, you can't take
Okay.
it away.
No land. All right, I like there's no land without blessing. Without blessing. What does Abraham have to do with this?
Well, without being given to Abraham, we don't have the land at all.
Okay, no land without blessing. No blessing without Abraham. What's another way of saying this? Yes.
It's like a tripod.
Ooh. It's like a tripod there too.
Right. One can't stand without the other.
One can't stand. What is your name?
Lee Shiver.
Lee. L-E-E?
Lee, or Leonora. Yeah.
Okay, Leonora. L-E-O-N?
O-R-A. Leonora. That's correct.
Nora. Right. Okay. I get there. I'm not very good with spelling. Leonora said that it's like a tripod.
Right.
None will stand without the other. None stand. Okay, anything else? Yes.
Let's look at it as an if-then statement. If you do this, you will then get this. Like,
If, okay.
Abraham goes to the land, then this will happen.
T-A-M-A-R-A.
A-R-A.
Here we go. If, what?
You have to have all three of these.
Yes.
If Abraham
Abraham is where?
goes to the land.
Goes to the land. Goes to land. Then
Okay, receive the blessing.
Abraham will receive the blessing. Then blessed. We'll say it that way. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Steve.
Abraham will be a blessing for the land.
Will be a blessing for the land.
You know something that's very interesting. There's another way you can look at it.
Now, as it turns out, the person who's closest to the beginning meaning is Tamar. When Abram is in the land, Abram is blessed. However, everybody had a good idea. Everybody brought the idea of blessing and that they all had to stand together and none was weighted more than the other and that by putting them together there was something special going on. Now, everybody write somebody else's comment down. Because the idea is we want to share them and we want to keep them in our student commentary. We don't want to say that we like Fern's answer. We want to write it down because we want to share them. We want to have them as a record and we want to use them as a community. Okay? All right. I want to show you one other thing in the workbook page. That's the one that starts with the introduction about being Torah. And I want you to look at page, the one that's opposite, well, actually it's page 26. And I want, in this case, we decided to put in what is a classical story in an interesting kind of way. What story is missing in the Abraham story? Because the first time we see Abraham is when Abraham is told to leave, to go to Canaan, to go to be part of the family. What story are we missing? What classical Jewish story that we tell all of our children about is missing here?
Oh, the idols. The idols.
The thing with the idols. That great story of the idol that's in other books, that are in other textbooks, but that it's not here.
It shouldn't be, though.
Well, it shouldn't be. So we decided to put in this cute little story, which is part of the workbook, that talks about what happens when there are stories that are missing. So we came up with a story about dear little Nathan, who wrote his teacher, Mrs. Huffin, and said, hey, these people made a mistake. They didn't have this story in it. Why didn't they have this story in it? This story's important. I know this story. This is one I like. I'm a baseball player. I can live with this. You know, this striking the idols push. I think it's interesting to know that we don't ignore these issues, but we don't put it in a book that's going to give them false information. Because we don't want them to learn stories that are not in the Torah and then get really angry because they're not there. So this is a perfect lesson on Midrash, on making Midrash. We ask students to go to the library and check out books and try to figure out what's there and what's not there and look at the word Midrash, and it's kind of a neat exercise. Let me tell you the final note. The number in Torah is 800 Torah. We chose this particular number because this was the 800 number we got after we did being Torah, and we thought it was important. The other reason I'm telling you this is call us. I don't care if you're a teacher or a assistant teacher or a principal or a secretary or somebody silly like the rabbi. Call us. If you need help, call us. Stay in touch. Let us know what you're doing. If you are interested in talking to me as a Being Torah teacher, or you're interested in networking with other Being Torah teachers, call me. Let me know that. I'd be happy to get you in touch with people. I'd like to build a network of people using this material. And if you're a principal and your teacher doesn't want to use it, and you want to bring somebody in to help gazoots them, call us. We have teacher trainers. We'll be happy to do some work. Okay? Thank you for coming. Enjoy your next class.